Hey there, fellow travelers. Mark here with Walter's World, and today we're here in Rwanda. We're actually just outside the Volcano National Park. That's where you go trek with the gorillas. Yeah, it is a fantastic country to be in. We've loved our time here. There's so many things you want to do when you are here, but today we're not going to focus on the do's. We're going to focus on the don'ts. And today we're going to talk about are the things you don't do as a tourist when you do come here to Rwanda, okay? And the first don't I have for you is kind of a one that kind of surprised me when I was flying in, and that is actually don't bring any plastic bags when you come to Rwanda. You know those disposable plastic bags you get from, like Walmart or your local grocery store or your local takeout place? Maybe you use those for your dirty clothes. Maybe you use those for just extra carrying kind of things. Well, you know what? They're illegal here in Rwanda, so don't bring them. And the reason why I was surprised is because they even announced it. We flew down with KLM, and they announced it as we're getting ready to land. Oh, by the way, plastic bags are illegal here in Rwanda, so if you have any, you might want to leave them on the plane. So that was the first thing that kind of surprised me, but it's also a don't that you should know. So don't bring those plastic bags. Now, the second don't I have for you is a bit more serious, and it has to do with the genocide here. If you don't know, in 1994, 1 million people were massacred and killed here in Rwanda in about 100 days. It's a very horrible, just atrocity that happened here. And the thing is you'll see memorials all around the country. And my don't for this is don't be disrespectful when going to the genocide memorials or talking about the genocide and stuff like that, because it's still a touchy subject. So it's best to kind of avoid that kind of topic. And so I just wanted to have a heads up for it. Now, I haven't seen anybody doing the selfies at the genocide memorials, thank God, like I've seen in Auschwitz and I've seen at the 9/11 memorial and stuff like that. So in general, I found that tourists here are much more respectful. So just make sure that you're being respectful as well, talking about the genocide and stuff like that. Kind of going along with that is don't ask people if they're Hutu or Tutsi or Twa. You don't do that. Actually, you're not even supposed to ask that here in Rwanda. So don't do that. So my next don't for you is don't litter. When you come here to Rwanda, you will see the streets. They are sparkling clean. Like, we could have lunch on the street, no problem. And you as a tourist need to know that you don't litter here because the streets are super clean. I mean, they have one day a month. The last Saturday of every month is actually dedicated for everybody in the country to clean up their communities. It's beautiful, it's wonderful, and it means the streets are super clean, so don't litter. But I guess I need to tell you this is don't eat while you're walking around because you're not going to see a lot of garbage cans either, so you're going to be carrying stuff with you. So eat at your hotel or at a restaurant and keep the stuff there, and then go out and enjoy the wonderful people and wonderful nature here. But don't litter. Let's keep it beautiful here. Now, my next don't for you has to deal with the water, and you do not drink the tap water here in Rwanda. It is bottled water only, and what's cool is the bottled water is everywhere. I mean, sites had it, stores had it, non-food stores had bottled water, so you can get it. It's super cheap too, so that's really nice. I mean, the water here, you don't even want to brush your teeth with. Most of the hotels will actually give you like a bottled water in your rooms so you can brush your teeth with the bottled water, okay? So don't drink the tap water. Stick to the bottled water. Now, a fun don't I have for you is don't be too posh for a moto taxi. If you're not sure what a moto taxi is, when you're here, you'll see all these motorcycle guys with a vest on and a helmet, and there might be somebody behind them with another helmet on. The moto taxis are motorcycle taxis. Yes, you can take a motorcycle taxi just for you going around. And yes, they'll have a helmet for you, don't worry. And the thing is, this is the country of 1,000 hills. And it's not little hills, it's steep hills and stuff like that. So when you look in your guidebooks and you look on your maps and it looks like, oh, that place is close, it might be close this way, but not close because you have to go down and then up again. So do have a heads up for that. So those moto taxis can really come in handy. Now, when you're driving around the moto taxi or you're going around town, you're going to see tons of people walking on the streets with their bikes and all kinds of stuff. People pushing, their bike full of, potatoes and stuff like that, or maybe construction equipment and things like that. Or you'll see ladies carrying big jars on their head and stuff like that. And you're like, wow, that's really cool. I want to get a picture of that. Or the beautiful children that are just running around and so happy and waving at you. Oh, I want to get a picture of the people. Well, my next don't for you is don't just take pictures of people. Make sure you ask beforehand, hey, is it okay if I take a picture? And don't be surprised if they may say, yeah, sure. And then they might want a little tip or something like that for them. It doesn't always happen, but it could happen. So just be prepared. Have some coins with you, to pay them and stuff like that. I think my next don't that would kind of go along with the money kind of thing is don't forget to bring new US dollars, okay? Now, I'm not saying like brand new, crisp, clean, made in this year. I'm saying anything within the last 5 or 10 years is going to be good, but make sure like they're the crisp version. So go to your bank and get US dollars when you come here, because in the tourism industry, everyone will take US dollars. okay? But if you're going to go to some of the smaller stores or tipping people for a photo or something like that, they like to use the Rwandan franc, so you might want to have some of the local currency as well. But it is really a cash-based kind of place. So that next don't I have for you is don't expect to use your credit card very often when you're here. And if you do have credit cards, it's Visa or MasterCard, and that's about it, all right? So have a heads up, but really, don't forget to bring the cash for when you come here. Now, another thing I should talk about is when you're walking around and you're seeing all these people, you know, walking on the streets and stuff like that, you'll see the women are dressed amazing. They have some of the most beautiful dresses I've ever seen in the world, and you'll see people dressed pretty well. And the thing is, you as a tourist, a lot of times when people think, I'm going to East Africa, I'm going on safari, I need to wear safari clothes every single day. Look, my don't for you is don't wear safari clothes unless you're going on safari. Here in Rwanda, people dress a little bit more respectfully, and you as a tourist should do the kind of same thing, okay? So make sure you're dressing the part when you come, and don't wear your safari clothes in Kigali, okay? Just have a heads up for that. Now, when you are going around, you might be taking a guide into the gorillas, right? Or you might have a guide taking you to different places or a driver and stuff like that. My next don't for you is don't forget to tip your drivers, your guides, the hotel staff. You will tip all these people, okay? That's how they're making their living. And the thing is, if you're at a lodge or you're at a hotel, you don't necessarily tip every single person individually. When you check in, look by the front desk and there'll be a tip box right there, and you'll just leave a tip at the end when you're there. Think about $10 a day for your room. That's what you want to leave in there, okay? So you have that, but don't forget to tip. It really makes a big difference. If you're going on a tour and you have the same guy the whole time, you tip them at the end, okay? So you do have that. Now, my next don't for you actually has to deal with if you're here near the Volcano National Park and you want to see the gorillas, don't think you could just show up and go to see the gorillas. You actually have to pre-book your trek there, and there's a limited number of spots every single day. So if you don't have one when you're coming here, you might not be able to go. So make sure, maybe once you book your plane tickets, you know when you're going to get here, try to set up your tickets and book there. If you're going to go through a tour, they will set it up for you so you can have that. And know that the trek start early in the morning, okay? So when you're here, don't think, I'm going to have a lie-in, then go see gorillas. No. You get up, you go, and then you trek. And once you find the gorillas, you only get an hour with them, okay? But it is a really amazing experience where they're like right there for you, okay? And I think since so many people come here to Rwanda to see the gorillas, there's some don'ts you should know when you do go see the gorillas. One, don't wear bright clothes or white clothes and stuff like that. You want to have more muted colors when you're there. Another thing is don't use a flash because that can startle them. And also don't go up to the gorillas. Now they may come to you because they don't listen to the rules, okay? But you as a tourist, you want to stay a certain distance away, and the guides will tell you all these things. So make sure you're paying attention. Now, you'll be safe seeing the gorillas. I mean, they haven't had any issues with gorillas and people, so that's a good thing. But I just want to give you a heads up. And I guess this leads into my next don't for you is don't think Rwanda is just going to see gorillas and that's it. I've talked to a number of guides here, and they're like, oh no, people come here and they don't want to see culture, they don't want to see the cities, they just want to go straight to the gorillas and that's it. Well, yeah, seeing the gorillas is great, but don't just see the gorillas. There's so much more here. If you want to go down to Lake Kivu and you can go hit the lake with all the locals and the Rwandans that go down from Kigali on the weekends and stuff like that, or maybe you want to see the Big Five, you can go to Akagera National Park and see them and do your safari kind of stuff there. And that's where you wear your safari clothes, just FYI, okay? Or you can go in Kigali, you see the Genocide Memorial there, and you can see the other things, the museums and stuff that are there. I mean, there's a lot to do here, and it's a really great experience. So don't just think it's just gorillas. It's so much more here. And the people here, I mean, that's been our favorite part. I mean, Jocelyn has cried multiple times when she's here. Yes, when we went to the Genocide Museum or the Genocide Memorial in Kigali, I mean, it's a very powerful museum. The stories and the pictures and stuff like that, it'll bring you to tears. But also the joy you have when you meet the people and you see the stuff here really bring a lot out. And that will bring tears to your eyes as well. How wonderful it is. I know my kids just had a wonderful time playing soccer with the local people and stuff like that. It's just such a wonderful experience. So don't think it's just gorillas. Get out, meet the people, go learn about culture. If you're here seeing the gorillas, you can go to the Gorilla Guardian Village. It's where ex-poachers have come, and they now have new jobs. They're not poaching anymore, and they talk about Rwandan culture. They teach you how to shoot the bow and arrow. They teach you about how they made banana beer and stuff like that. And the marriage that we had there, Jocelyn and I got married again, and it's wonderful because they want you to understand their culture, that, hey, we're not just the gorillas and the mist kind of stuff. There's so much more here in Rwanda, so please go and see more than just the gorillas. But yes, do see the gorillas too. Oh, but I will say, don't expect to see the gorillas if you've got kids. You have to be 15 or up to go see the gorillas. If you're under 15, you can't go in. Also, the Genocide Memorials, under 12, can't go in either. So probably better because it is really impactful because they do show a lot of stuff, okay? And the stories there just break your heart. Some other don'ts you should remember. One, don't forget your vaccines if you're going to be coming here. Now, the thing is there's certain vaccines the CDC does recommend, so make sure you get those. But you also might need updates for old ones. Maybe you need a booster for your tetanus or something like that, or a typhoid shot, because those I think only last for a couple years. Talk to your doctor. Let them know where you're going to be going, because you might be coming here to Rwanda, then going to Tanzania or Kenya. Let them, maybe you need a yellow fever vaccine. Check those things out before you come. Also, check into malaria medicine as well, because you might need that too. Another don't I have for you is don't forget to bring a universal plug, because here in Rwanda, you'll see the circle, mainland Europe plugs, but also you'll see the UK 3-prong plugs, okay? And there's not like they have both in every place. It switches in different places we've gone to. So have that universal plug that'll switch between the two. Now, I know I just talked about all those vaccines and stuff like that, but I will say is don't be paranoid about the vaccines. Don't be paranoid about diseases and stuff like that. This is super clean here. You're not going to have really any problems when you are here. Those are just preventative measures, because I know I've talked to guides and they're like, yeah, I don't ever take the malaria stuff when I come down here. It's fine. But, you need to talk to your doctor for those things. But we've had a great time here and we haven't had any issues. So it's been cool for us. Another don't I have for you is don't worry if you're a vegetarian, because here there's a lot of vegetarians. So you can eat lots and lots of different vegetarian meals when you're here, and they're super tasty. I know a lot of the lodges we've stayed at, they've had like 4 choices for dinner. 2 are meat and 2 are vegetarian. And the vegetarian ones have been better for me a lot of times than the meat options. But there are some good meat stuff when you are here. I like the Rwandan chicken. The goat was really good too. But for me, man, get some beans and stuff like that and some of the veggie meals. That's the way to go. And my last don't for you here in Rwanda is don't disparage their president. I know in some countries it's kind of a popular thing to do. It's like make fun of leaders and stuff like that. Well, here in Rwanda, they love their president, and they're like, hey, he's really done a good job helping bring us to where we are today. And so if you make jokes or any kind of stuff like that about it, it probably won't be taken too well, even if you mean it in jest. So just have a heads up for that. But in general, I would say don't skip out on Rwanda. This country has been fantastic. My kids have loved it. My wife has loved it. She even said this in Greece, the place that really touched her heart the most when she traveled. So I hope you can come here and have it touch your heart like it's touched ours, because I'm getting goosebumps thinking about how much fun we've had when we're here. Anyway, have a great time, and I'll say bye from here in Rwanda.